Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. How's it going?
It's going.
I'm doing fantastic. But y'all don't know who I am.
Here, wait. Angelique, I have a question for you.
What?
Why does it still have all of these on there?
Because you haven't exited out yet.
How do I do that?
You just click the X.
Oh, I literally just do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hee hee. Can you tell I've totally done this before? Well, another end to a week in the life of a film stud girl.
Happy Friday!
Today, we have a special guest. We have a special guest because Isabella this time is going to see Harry Styles, so she cannot be with us.
Mm-hmm.
Special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Clarisse. I am a sound designer and Hunter's roommate.
Yeah.
Woo.
The relevant facts.
I know, I was like, that is the whole bio.
I also killed Isabella, actually. That's
Oh my
why she's
god.
not here.
Oh
I was
no.
too jealous that she was going to go see Harry. I couldn't have it.
Isabella, I hope you're having a good time wherever you are. Peace and love. Angelique is struggling with her chair. Maybe.
No, I'm just getting food because I'm hungry.
I was struggling with my chair. For those of you who don't know, I'm 4'8", and these chairs are really tall. And the
Yeah.
bar that's supposed to help you get up on top, or the bar that I consider is supposed to help me get on top of it, is really low. So I had to, like, straddle
She had to
it.
jump.
I had to straddle this chair to get onto it.
So yes. Thank you, Clarisse, for joining us. Sorry, I'm sending my parents the link.
Yeah, I sent my family the link too.
Okay.
Looking for my little snackies I packed. I don't know where they're.
So, since Clarisse is our special guest today, we asked her to pick what topic she wanted to talk about, and she
Okay.
wants to talk about...
Wait. Does she want to also do question of the day and introduction?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to
Ooh.
say what we were talking about first, so if people aren't interested, they could leave.
No, you should tell them that's the last thing you should tell them because then like the anticipation will keep them to stay.
Okay, well, I'm going to say it anyway. We're going to talk about animated content, just like in general. And I know what you're thinking. Hunter, you don't even like animation.
She has
That's
an
false.
appreciation for it.
Yeah. No, people just like give me a hard time because I say that I don't choose it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're like, oh, so you don't like animation. I'm like, that is false. I just don't choose it. But when I do watch it, like when you show me stuff, Clarisse, I like it.
Coco, and she
Yes, I cried like a
Melted.
baby.
she melted into our sofa. She wasn't over it for like 20 minutes after.
I was not. I have a photo of me crying after that.
She cried all throughout the credits.
Yes. But yeah. So anyway, introductions. Angelique, do you have a question of the day?
No.
Okay, let me think of one.
Is that just
I
a
wanna-
question
I wanna-
in general?
I
Yeah,
thought,
just
like,
anything.
maybe Clarisse couldn't ask.
Is it
Yeah.
any question that
Yeah, it could be
Could be
anything.
anything.
film related?
Anything.
No,
doesn't have to be
anything.
film related.
All right.
Could be fun, could be quirky. Should I put some music, excuse me, in the background?
Yes, my question of the day is one that Hunter has heard. I don't know if Angelique has heard it, but
Oh, no.
no, it's not bad. What is the max number of cheeses that you think belongs in a multiple cheese mac and cheese? 3 cheese mac and cheese? 5 cheese mac and cheese? 7? Where does it end?
Have we talked about this before? I don't remember.
It was one of the rapid fire questions that I gave to one of our friends when we did Luke is drunk, let's question him night.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, hi, I'm Hunter. I feel like 4 is a good amount. I feel like after that, it gets kind of crazy. At least for me, it gets overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it's just too much in the mouth.
I like a healthy 3,
Yeah.
but I don't dislike 4. Once you get to 5,
Yeah, that's too crazy. And also, like, why? For what?
I think you're just trying to flex the number at that point.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Hi, I'm Angelique Acuna, the Tuna Matata. I haven't thought about this because I'm not a big mac and cheese person. I actually wasn't a big cheese person growing up. Till like semi-recently, like in college, I started liking cheese. It's just like weird. But I don't know, I never thought about this. I've only had one mac and cheese.
Our house has
Mono
a cheese drawer.
Cheese.
That we're addicted to cheese. We have a
Yes.
cheese drawer in our fridge. It's dedicated to just cheese.
And we have a lot of cheese in there
I do
at
like
any given time.
I like a good brie. My favorite
Ooh,
cheese.
Baked brie.
baked brie.
Like brie with like any fruit. Pretty good.
Mm.
Very French of you.
Yeah.
Very classy.
I mean, my name's Angelique, so.
I mean, true. They have the AHS intro on here.
Let's play it. I'm just kidding.
How do you put the music on, Angelique? Am I doing it right?
Last
Do I do it here?
Last time it was just there. But keep.
Hey, everybody
do
on
it
here. Let's listen
here?
to us deal with technical difficulties.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm totally joking.
Erm.
Wait, are you actually trying to play it? That's really funny.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find like
Don't
music.
be shy. Play the sound effects.
Okay.
Play the fart one.
Oh, you don't have the instant.
You don't have the instant player up.
You're so right.
I didn't.
Okay. What about crying male?
I love crying men.
Crying male.
Either way, it's for a good reason. You know, like either you made a bad man cry or a good man is releasing his emotions.
That's
which
so
many
true.
men don't do.
True. That could be a whole another episode. We just start veering off from film completely and we start getting into like psychology,
The question of
psychoanalysis.
the day is
Do
actually,
men
do
feel?
Men think? Do men feel?
Do men feel? That is yet to be answered. But yeah, so Clarisse, since you're our guest,
Yes.
is there anything specific with animated content you want to talk about? Oh, also, before we get started, if you have a thought on animated content or just in general, you can call in to the station at 714-516-6187. We would love to talk with you about anything that is not offensive, please.
If you just have a thought, too.
Just any thought.
I guess what I'm thinking is, and you know that cliche thought of, oh, animation is just for kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we start off with thinking about, how do I word this? Thinking about all the good things that come out of animation that aren't necessarily just, like for example, I'll name one off. Animated kids shows are actually really good at handling emotions.
They
Or
are.
like expressing the concept of emotions. And I think even as an adult, it's like beautiful to watch. So
I
don't know,
agree.
Do you all have any opinions on that? And then we can go through specifics and then get to like things that we like to watch.
Ooh, okay. I do really agree with that. Sorry, I'm still looking how to put music on. Was it in this section? Like this big section? Okay, well, no music this time because I can't figure it out. But no, I agree because, yeah, people are so easy to write off animation just because, you know, most of the time it is geared toward kids. But I feel like as I get older, even stuff that I watched when I was younger, I noticed like, oh, that really shaped me as a person. In, you know, it could be like not even in a serious way, but like, you know, that really affected me. And like children's minds are so malleable, so they're gonna take in whatever they are shown. So it's better to actually imbue some lessons in there and like, and also it's the whole concept of people just write off kids as just being dumb and not thinking about stuff and not having opinions or like oh, you're just too young to understand, which is like, no, that's so not true. And animation is such a good vessel for it's such a good vessel to like have kids be able to express their own opinions or like see their opinions or their identities or their thoughts like represented back at them.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important. And people who write off animation as just like, oh, it's just for kids, I don't need to watch it, like it's just dumb, like that is just discounting a whole aspect of film and TV.
I argue that kids are honestly depending on the way you look at it, kids are actually the smartest kids or smartest people. Simply because, I mean, you know, it's relative to what you decide is intelligence or not, but you know how kids have sponge brains.
Yeah.
Like, they have a higher ability to take in information than we do as adults. So if that's what you view as intelligence, I would argue, like, hey, they're better at us. I mean, they're better at it than we are.
Exactly. I agree.
I also agree. I think also, not to be that person, but I think also sometimes animation helps shapes, like I don't know, you find your sexuality sometimes.
That is true.
True.
Yeah.
It just makes it easier to, like, explore stuff like that because it's not necessarily complicated. It's not super serious all the time, but it has the room to be. And I feel like it gives kids the room to think about stuff like that. And, like, it's like a safe space almost.
Yeah, that's the other big thing is not making it complicated. Because, I mean, with a lot of animated TV shows, the way they express, like, emotions or things or conflict, it's not necessarily in a complicated way, you know? Because it's, kids shows are, like, 20-minute, 10-minute animated pieces. So you don't have the room or the space to make something super complicated.
Exactly.
And I think it was, like, I don't remember who said it. It might have been, I honestly think it might have been, like, Albert Einstein who said something like,
Okay.
No, it's just, like, something that stuck with me where it's, like, an actual genius will be able to explain something in the simplest of ways, and someone who's not actually smart and just wants to be perceived as smart will try and make it sound as complicated as possible to sound like they know what they're talking about. But, like, you need the ability to actually teach other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because it's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I think you're so right. Kids sometimes have the smartest takes or thoughts or, like, opinions because their minds aren't clouded by, like, all of this other stuff that you internalize as you grow older and, like, that you learn. And they're just kids are also a lot braver and, like, more courageous, and they'll just say whatever they want. Like, they're blunt. They'll just tell you like it is.
And on the topic of sexuality, like sexuality and complication, or, like, making things not as complicated, like, I mean, I'll bring up, like, a specific show, like Owl House. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's an animated TV show that's being put out by Disney right now. The main characters are straight up queer, and it's not, like, talked about necessarily, you know? There's not a sit-down moment like, oh, they're coming out, or, oh, this girl likes a girl. It's never talked about. The girls just start crushing on each other. They're, like, 13 years old, 12 years old? They just start crushing on each other the way 12-year-olds do, and no one talks about it in the sense of, like, oh, no, it's a big deal that they're gay, because it's not. And so you can explore that without having to cloud yourself with the whole issues of, I'm gay and stressed about it.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's the whole other thing. Like, it's so much, I don't know if, like, easier is the right term, but, like, you can do so much more in animation just because the fact that it's animation rather than having to figure out logistics of, like, using real people to, like, make whatever scenario you want. And you can use, like, fantastical creatures or, like, yeah, like, the producibility is not a question. So you can make whatever world you want. And within that world... No.
Okay, I won't curse.
I know, sadly. But yeah, like, you can create whatever world you want, and, like, you can make the rules in that world so much easier than if you were actually, it was like a live action thing.
What are your guys' favorite animated TV shows, movies, things you've seen, shorts? Animated shorts can get really good.
Yeah. Ooh.
I actually was listening to the Steven Universe song, like some Steven Universe songs today, because I got really excited about this topic.
I knew we were gonna get here. I knew you and I specifically get to this.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a lot of Steven Universe. If you're not familiar with Steven Universe is a cartoon animated show by Rebecca Sugar. We talked about this on the show, actually.
Yeah.
The film said Gorls on YouTube, if you want to check that out.
Check us out.
If you plan on having children, you must raise them on this show.
Exactly.
I'm dead serious about that. That's genuine advice I give to people, as if I should be giving anyone advice about how to raise their kids.
Yes.
I have Steven Universe socks. Like, I love the show.
Cute.
But I don't know how to yeah, I'm very head empty today, but or head full, but like
Head full.
head full of like witchcraft stuff because that's what I've been writing about and TV. Oh, actually, yeah. I mean, I just read a TV thing for my class, but kind of brain dead. But yeah, Steven Universe is like kind of about it's a coming of age show about a kid named Steven who is raised by, it's like a magical realism show, and Steven's raised by a whole bunch of women who are fantastical like beings, like, and they're called gems, and it's like a, you know, pretty complex world but also simple at the same time.
They build it slowly enough that you don't realize how fantastic it's gotten until you try to explain it to someone like a couple seasons down.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, there's so much context and so much lore dumping that I have to do for you to catch up on what I'm trying to explain.
Wait, I think I found the music. Sorry. I have been listening, but I found the music, I think.
Also,
should we play
yeah, you did.
Happy Vibe?
Ooh.
That'd be fine.
Also, since we're, you know, still dealing with COVID,
Oh.
and we should stay clean and healthy, if you sing the Steven Universe theme song from start to finish, it is exactly 20 seconds and how long you should be washing your hands. It is the song that I sing every time I wash my hands. I sing it in my head every time.
Oh, cute.
Funny, I do ABCs.
Really? Do you sing it twice? Or is it only once? No, it's Happy Birthday is sang twice, right?
Yeah.
I just look myself in the eyes and think. Think about things. Yeah, I mean, okay, for me, since I did say I'm not a big animation gal by choice, I mean, what shaped me as a child? SpongeBob. I mean...
This is unironically true. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah, and I think about this a lot because I genuinely think SpongeBob is the way, like, watching SpongeBob is, like, made me who I am today. Like, I don't even say that to be funny because I think it's true. And it, like, my humor, like, most of it comes from SpongeBob. Like, I think about it all the time. I reference it all the time. Like, half of my jokes are just SpongeBob references.
Do you ever think about how much of our brain space is just taken up by
just
SpongeBob references?
Mine is at least 25%.
SpongeBob references and connections. Just I think about it sometimes, I realize it's probably a lot.
It's a lot. But, like, yeah. Because I was one of those kids who watched SpongeBob, like, religiously as a child. And I would watch it with my dad all the time. So he knows the references. So we'll always, like, make SpongeBob jokes to each other. And my mom is like, what does that mean? We're like, don't worry about it. She watched some too. But that's also another thing. It's like, even if the show is geared toward kids, most of them still have adult humor in them. Mm-hmm. So, like, the rewatchability is so high. Because then when you grow up and you watch it, you're like, wow, this is actually, like, the humor is a lot smarter than I could have realized. Mm-hmm. And also, like, a lot of times there's, like, dirty jokes in there that, like, you wouldn't have noticed. So it just makes it fun to, like, go back and see. But, I have to pick a new song and end it. Serendipity R&B vibe.
There's also, like, the rewatchability, you know, like, of going back as an adult and seeing things. You always, like, it's not even just jokes. It's, like, things that you appreciate a lot more than you did when you were a kid. Like, one thing I always see people doing is going back to Phineas and Ferb and saying, oh my god, like, Dr. Doofenshmirtz is, like, generally a really good dad.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that, you know? Like, he really is.
It's true. And, like, yeah, I don't know. There's just something so, like, something so lasting about animation, mm-hmm. especially, like, stuff that you watch as a kid. It just sticks with you in a way that I don't think, like, I don't remember what the first, like, live action movie I saw was. Like, I don't remember any of that, but I remember so vividly watching SpongeBob, like, every day in my parents' room, like, sitting on the ground and just, like, watching SpongeBob. And, oh, it just, that energy is just unmatched. And not that SpongeBob has, like, a powerful message or anything, but honestly, like, it just really shaped who I am. It shaped my humor, and that is a big part of me.
I didn't watch SpongeBob growing up. My mom didn't like it, so I didn't watch it.
That's also the thing. Yeah, the
There's
division
the
between
division.
parents who didn't let their kids watch SpongeBob.
It's so odd. It's such a specific thing to not let your
Yeah.
kids watch. I get it. It's just every time it's I just mean like there are so many people with that specific issue, you know?
Yeah. It's such a thing. And like usually the parents who didn't let their kids watch SpongeBob were like really passionate about not letting their kids watch SpongeBob. Not all the time,
I mean,
but like
yeah, my mom didn't really. I mean, like she's like more like she's found it annoying. I mean, I still watched
Yeah.
like some of it, but I didn't watch until I was like in middle school, type of thing. Or when I was divorced parent vibes, my dad let me watch it.
there you go.
I go to my dad's to watch SpongeBob.
Yeah, well,
I'm joking.
well, my mom really liked Disney Channel shows, so I watched only. But
Yes.
she liked when I watched Disney Channel because Disney Channel didn't advertise like toys.
Oh, true.
Or, like,
yeah, they only had their own.
They only had
stuff,
they only advertised like their other TV shows and like just Disney products and had little shorts in between. So that's why she let me. That's why she put it on, or I watched that more. And then my dad like would let me watch Cartoon Network and like Nickelodeon. And,
Oh, Cartoon Network. I miss Cartoon Network.
I know a show that we didn't talk about. Switching from kids shows that shape our humor, let's move on to adult shows that might shape our humor. I know you love Bob's Burgers.
oh yeah, I love
Yes. Yeah, I've talked about Bob's Burgers before on this show, but I love Bob's Burgers. It's just like the show that I put on when I don't want to think. And I don't
It was,
know
like,
why.
big
It's so comforting.
Quarantine vibes when we first moved into our house
Yeah.
when quarantine hit. We like only watched Bob's Burgers.
Because it's just like, especially at that time, it was like so much was going on in the world. That it's just like, I need to focus on something else, but something that's not so big brained. And like, and also just the fact that like, focusing on their problems makes you not think about your own problems because they always have something going on, but they always figure it out. So it's kind of inspiring. And it's so well written and the actors are great. And like, oh, it's just so funny.
I read this tweet recently. Okay, I'm neurodivergent, so I didn't say this, but I read this tweet recently that was like, Bob's Burgers is just a show about a family where no one is neurotypical.
Oh, yeah.
And when they said it in like a good way though, and everyone in the replies was just saying like, it's so wholesome. They're just like a chaotic family and they all have problems, but they all accept each other and they're all just dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
And they all love each other in the end every time.
What was the last episode I watched this. I think I was definitely watching it with you. The soccer episode.
Yes. When they forced Louise to go on the soccer team.
Great show.
It's so good. And like, it's just really impressive how long that show's been going and it's still just as good as it was when it started. Like, I feel like that show's really consistent.
Ooh, rip, can't say the same about SpongeBob.
Yeah, that is very true. Unfortunately, SpongeBob got weird. The SpongeBob movies, though?
The way I actually cried over those.
Yeah, like, they're so emotional. SpongeBob movies are great. Did I ever tell you guys? I'm sure I have, but my junior year of high school, it was, like, the first, like, school event of the year. And we did, I forget what they called it, but it was, like, an outdoor movie. But it was where the pool was. We had an outdoor pool. Like an Olympic, not an Olympic size, but like, you know, for swim meets and stuff. And so we all were in the pool watching the movie and it was the SpongeBob movie. And it was incredible. Like, whoever planned that, kudos to you because that was amazing.
That sounds like a beautiful experience, honestly.
It was so fun. And it was like warm. Oh, it just felt good. SpongeBob movie on the big screen. The way it was intended.
What other aspects of animation do you guys like? I can get like really into it, but I don't want to like take over.
You like sound design and animation, right?
Oh god, I do. I was restricting myself. I was like, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it.
Hey,
don't
you're
talk
our
about it.
guest. I want to know.
It's so cool, guys. I'm gonna turn into a little boy talking about this. Just like, okay, let me explain this for people who may not be familiar with the way the film world works. You know, when you film a live action movie or TV show, obviously you like record the dialogue on set, you have source sound, and you have a physical world to build off of, because you're filming like, oh, we're filming in the house, we're filming in the desert, you know what's there, you can physically see it. But animation, like we said, there's no like boundaries to producibility the way that, like, in the same way that live action films do, so like stuff gets crazy. Like if you've seen like a single Rick and Morty fight scene, like no dialogue is said and already a million things have happened that cannot be explained. And so when it comes to sound design, like think about it, we get those cuts, there's no sound. Like the only thing that's there is dialogue, if there is any, and a lot of animated content doesn't have any dialogue. So you really get to build the world from the sound up. Like there's world building when it comes to art, but then like think about the world building that comes into sound. Like the next time you listen to an animated movie or TV show, like listen to it. Or actually, like I'll give you a specific one to listen to. Watch WALL-E.
Yes.
Watch WALL-E and listen to it. And think about the fact that the two main characters are robots who don't really speak. They had to characterize these two characters purely through sound. And they say things like Wally and Eve, and that's it. Like, that's it. And somehow they gave those characters emotions by, you know, creating noise in post-production. That's crazy. So that's my...
That is crazy. I've never thought about it that way.
That's my little spiel.
I remember we talked about it, because I remember I recommend you watch Demon Slayer, because I thought that would be a really cool...
I was recommended Demon Slayer again recently. And I thought about you.
Oh, I'm glad.
I met someone whose cat's name is Rui.
Aww.
And I was like, oh, what'd you name it after? And he said, oh, this show Demon Slayer, because we were sort of like recommending shows to each other. I recommended Arcane, which is a brand new TV show on, I'm like plugging it.
Yeah.
It's a brand new TV show on Netflix put out by Riot Games, animated by the same people who created League of Legends. It is based on the lore of League of Legends. You do not need to play the video game to understand anything about this TV show. You can go in raw and love it like me.
Yeah.
It's so good. Just like on the topic of things that, or like on the topic of people thinking that animation is just for kids, like point blank period, this show is not for children. Like, is Demon Slayer for children, would you say? It's not?
I know children who have watched it, but it's definitely not for children.
Is it pretty violent?
Yeah, I wrote about it for my screen violence paper.
Hey.
And there's movies, right? It's not just a TV show.
They have one
They
movie.
like just came out with the movie, right?
Okay.
Came out in 2020.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Did it make you cry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard.
The movie was so good. I mean, it came out in 2020, but of course, like, theaters weren't. Yeah, but they, like, in the summer, I watched it in theaters.
Can you give me a little, like, blurb?
Yeah.
So basically, Demon Slayer is about a guy named Tanjiro who it takes place, I think, in like a more, I forgot what the era of Japan it is, but like an era where it's like,
oh, they're like just getting electricity. Like
yeah,
that
it's pretty like in the past, but basically
it's like just starting to modernize.
yeah, it's still very like rural, like, you know, stuff like that, and how like it's pretty like much like that, but the only like difference is that there are demons in this world, so it's kind of like you need to be careful, like they come out at night, they can hurt you. So Tanjiro's very like he's like probably like the nicest person you'll ever see in like a series or like a TV show, and really cares about his family. He leaves one day to go help his whole family like get errands, and as he's coming back it's night, and they're like, oh, you shouldn't go back, like stay here. So he decides to stay behind, but then and then as he stays the night somewhere, he comes back the next morning and his whole family's killed by a demon.
Oh my
and
God.
one of his sisters, he has like 5 brothers and like a lot of like he has a lot of siblings, but one of his siblings is turned into a demon, and basically like you know, he's trying to help her, but like people are saying no, like she's like she can't be saved, but he's like determined to save her, and like she done something's different about her though, where she decides like she doesn't want to hurt humans, she wants to protect them. So the whole point of the anime is Tanjiro is like wanting to become a demon slayer, which are like these people with like katanas and like they
That's
slay
so sick.
demons and
Yes.
and but he just wants to do it though so he can like learn how to change his sister from demon back to human. So he's
Ooh.
like going through like trying to find the big boy demon to save, and I think it's really like I wrote a whole paper about it comparing it to like Salo, which is like
Oh my god. Oh my god.
that was pretty intense. I got like an okay grade on the paper, so but I
What
got
is the other thing that you mentioned? What is it called?
Salo.
Salo. It's on an it's like a real it's a
That's the one. I think I told you about it. The first movie that we had to watch for Kelly's class.
Oh,
This semester.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I wrote about that. But yeah, it's a really fun anime. The first season's really good. I think the movie's done I think like the sound design's really interesting. I like how they play with it, and I really like the fight scenes in it. That's very dynamic.
Is the movie also animated or is it live action?
Oh yeah, of course.
Ooh.
See,
It's part of like the basically, well, season 2 of Demon Slayer is like technically coming out right now, but however, it's like the TV adaptation of the movie that they released,
Oh, cool.
which is interesting. But yeah, the movie like is literally like right after season 1, so you have to watch all of season 1 to understand the
Got it.
movie. But yeah. So basically, literally, season 1 ends, and then when you watch the movie, it starts like right where season 1 ended.
Oh, that's cool.
So like you're not, and like they kind of end of season 1 kind of talks about like what they're gonna do in the movie. So I feel bad for fans who really love Demon Slayer, and then they had to wait like a really long time for the movie to come out, because I was very fortunate where I watched the whole series and then like a few days later I watched the movie. Yeah, my roommate Annie introduced it to me.
I felt like that with Steven. I watched all of Steven, and then Future came out immediately after.
I have not caught up with Steven Universe, sadly. Like,
A lot of people don't like Future.
oof.
Do you like it?
I do, for a couple of reasons. Though. But I don't want to cut straight through to that, but I about Demon Slayer, well, first off, someone told me I would like this because I really liked Supernatural.
Yeah.
Similar vibes, family dynamics of people wanting to save siblings and demons being everywhere. But also, like, when it comes to, like, would you say that the fight scenes are really, like, craftfully done?
Yeah, definitely.
That's, like, one way to know that, like, an animated show or an animated movie is, like, really good, is if the fight scenes are well done. Because, like, imagine having to, like, think about choreographing a fight scene.
like drawing that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Think
That's
about
crazy.
choreographing a fight scene, and then think about having to actually, like, physically
Yeah.
animate that.
I actually, on my keys, I have a character from Demon Slayer on it.
Who's your favorite character?
Not
Not that I know them, but tell me.
probably Tanjiro. He's the main character.
Oh, the main character.
But
Who's Rui?
Rui? Why am I forgetting? I'm like head empty. I know the main 3.
I'm fully pronouncing it wrong, probably. That's just how the person I know called their cats. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait. Yeah. Rui is like a. Yeah, I was right. I wrote about him in my paper.
Okay.
He's one of the demons that Tanjiro fights.
Ooh. Demon.
The spider
cat.
demon.
Speeder demon.
But yeah, I mean, is this a chance I can talk about anime?
Of course.
Of course.
So I'm a big anime person. I was actually thinking about anime today because I was like, "Ugh, I miss watching anime."
There is no room for
Anime
anime
girl.
slander here.
Exactly. I think I don't get people who don't like anime. That's just me. They just like kind of write it off like, oh, I don't like anime.
Yeah, I was
But, like,
gonna say, like, a lot of people just don't even try.
yeah, I
feel
remember like and like not love my first gen people, but I remember we did on summer breaks. They said, oh, who thinks anime is overrated? And like people divided. I'm like, you can't just say like anime is a singular genre of like things. Like, oh no, there's like subgenres.
True,
Like,
yeah.
like my roommate Cynthia, she's a really big like, she likes the romance anime, but I like the action anime.
Yeah.
So like, you know, we're not gonna. I mean, she does watch the action anime too, but it's like we like different categories of anime, and like people like you can't just say like, oh, like Demon Slayer is not what's a like very popular like shoujo anime. I know I can't think of a good example, but like, oh yeah, Demon Slayer is not like You Lie in April or like something like A Silent Voice or Your Name. Like Demon Slayer is not like that. Like
There's something for everyone, you know? It bothers me because people just lump anime together if they don't know anything about it, but the reality is anime as a whole form is basically just like live action as a whole form. Like there's gonna be
I was gonna say
genres.
it's like writing off like, oh, I just don't like live action movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Like,
think there's
okay.
people have the issue of anime how it's sometimes like yes, it does fetishize like women's a lot of the
yeah.
times, and that is an issue. But like that's not all of anime, but it's just like you can't like base all of like film off of Quentin Tarantino films that fetishize women
Yeah.
and stuff. So
Like a lot of men
why are you
do.
going to like based off like categories like anime, like, oh, all of anime fetishize women when they don't.
It's funny because the first anime I ever watched and got into was Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Attack on Titan is very action-driven, very not sexualized. It's not sexualized at all, really, I would say. And it was the first anime I watched. Like, the female characters are totally awesome. They are strong, and it's not just like weird that they just are, and they're not, dressed up in weird like superhero costumes with their boobs hanging out
Yeah.
kind of thing. And that was the first anime I watched and got into. And then the second one that I got into was JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
I have not seen too much of JoJo, if I'm being honest.
I can't even begin to explain to you guys what JoJo is. I'm not even gonna try. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is bizarre, and it's hyper, like animated. Like, I'm not even gonna talk. It's not even just the woman. Like the men themselves are like muscles on muscles. Like they looked like they were 18-year-old swole dudes when they
Oh my
were
God.
apparently 12.
Oh my
And then
god.
it jumped to like 10 years later in the first season, and they were just even more swollen. I actually screamed. But yeah, anime's wild, guys.
Yeah, one of my favorite anime, I was like thinking about it today. I really like this one anime called Durarara. I know, weird name. It's supposed to be like a onomatopoeia for like a motorcycle, like
Ooh.
the sound it makes. But I really like that anime because I really like how it plays with magical realism in the show.
I
'cause
love
it's,
magical realism.
Me too. I'm like, that's one of my favorite like genres in general, like both book and like anything magical realism, like huge magical realism gal. But Durara is basically about it's based off, or it takes place in a real place called Ikebukuro, and it's a city, and it's considered like not like a pretty safe city, but like weird stuff happens and people are pretty like, that happened. Like there's like mixtures of like talking about gangs and like but also there's like a weird like demon running around, and then there's also like a headless horsewoman like who
everyone's
rides a
just okay with
motorcycle.
it.
Everyone's kind of like pretty normalized. People are like intrigued by a lot of these characters, but like it's not like anything weird or like, I mean the demon's like murdering people, of course people are scared, but like it's just really interesting, and I think and it also deals with a really big ensemble cast, which I really like. And yeah, I recommend that one. There's 2 seasons. I've only seen the first season. But yeah, I really recommend that one.
I have a lot of recommendations for different types of people. Steven Universe for your children when you have them, or if you already do, unless they're like 1 and can't process anything. But whatever. One of my other favorite shows, one of our friends, Eric, who may or may not have been on the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric, my friend Eric and I are really big fans of this show called Kipo. What is the actual title? Kipo and the... Sorry, I've only been referring to it as Kipo. That's the main character's name. What is it actually called? Oh, Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beasts.
Oh.
Amazing show. This was actually the first TV show I ever watched where within the first few seconds, I immediately knew I was gonna love it. And the world building is insane. And also the music choice. This is very rare for me, I think, that music in animation just immediately hits me. Not that a lot of music is bad. I don't even just mean in animation. I just mean in TV shows in general. Like, most music just fits, and that's it. It fits. But this one, it was like, it just hit. It hit so hard. I was like, this is beautiful. But anyways, Kipo is about a girl named Kipo who lives underground because it's post-apocalyptic. And in this world, almost all humans now live underground because the above the ground world has become a rampant world of mutations. And by mutations, I mean, like, every creature is now, like, sentient, like, well, you know, they already are. But, you know, they talk, they are huge, they have their own gangs and towns and civilizations, basically. And so humans don't live above ground. And there are, like, a few amount of surface people, and then Kipo gets thrown into the above ground world because of a mishap that happened in her home. And then it's like her trying to figure it out and find her family, and then discovering things about her past along the way. And it's crazy.
That sounds really good.
So highly recommend that one. For the gays, She-Ra.
I've heard about this.
Highly recommend She-Ra. Even though it made me angry the whole time. Do you guys have any recommendations?
I mean, I'm not the animation gal, so I don't know.
That's probably like a lot of anime I really recommend. Like definitely Demon Slayer.
I need to watch that. I need to hit you up. I mean, I need to really take you up on that.
Attack on Titan's really good.
I haven't caught up on it.
I love Attack on Titan. I've watched it through 2 times now.
You've seen the last season then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not over yet.
Or sorry, I meant the most recent one.
Yeah. But it's like, I know. I was just like, I wasn't like correcting you.
Oh, no.
I was just like, like it's not over yet. Like that's.
No, I actually didn't know that. So.
Yeah, it is not over yet. Mm-hmm. I think that was like the first half of the last season aired, and then the second half of the last season should be airing like December soon.
They pulled the hiatus thing again?
Yeah, they pulled the like, we're gonna wait.
I hate when shows do that. Like, for what?
Owl House is on hiatus right now.
Give or take with Attack on Titan, they had to change animations studios.
Oh.
So and like it's really it's a lot of complex animation. So I don't mind the wait. I guess people were mad about the manga ending. Like the manga ended. And apparently people didn't like the ending, so I'm nervous about it. Or some people like really liked it, some people didn't.
#fascism.
But we can't make everyone happy with an ending, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, but I really recommend Attack on Titan. I think I describe Attack on Titan as like if you really liked Game of Thrones, you probably would like Attack on Titan. But like,
it goes deep.
It goes deep. Yeah, I recommend I just say I think people, when Funimation released their trailer for the English dub of Attack on Titan, they referred to The Walking Dead of anime, and I guess I guess you can say it's a really well written anime, and the characters are really compelling, and the action. There's a lot of plot twists. I think Attack on Titan's so good when you rewatch it because it's a lot of
you see the hidden
the hidden details of there's a lot of plot. There's a huge plot twist in the show, and then I rewatched it with Cynthia, my roommate, and I was like, oh,
they probably reveal it so much earlier than you think.
There's Easter eggs
I love doing that
throughout the whole series, and you're like, oh my gosh, or you start thinking this during this thing this was happening, you know, you kind of have a different perspective of what's going on, and I just think Attack on Titan is a really good way of building its world in a sense.
I remember now, one of the ways that I used to describe Attack on Titan to people when I would pitch this show to them is that it's one of those shows where they will ask a question and it will leave you on a cliffhanger wondering what the answer to this question is. And then episodes or even a season later, you've completely forgotten that you had that question in the first place. And then all of a sudden, they bring answered, it back, and it makes you lose your mind.
I always say Attack on Titan, season 1 you have questions, season 2 more questions, season 3 you get them answered, and then season 4 it's a whole brand new
season
thing.
3 you get the first season questions answered, and then
literally, and then I'm on season 4 and I'm okay, but I also want to shout out Studio Ghibli movies.
Yes.
Before we only have a few minutes left of the show.
Yeah, we have 3 minutes left.
We have 3 minutes left of the show, but Studio Ghibli's really cool. My favorite one is Kiki's Delivery Service because I love witches, and I would give my left lung to be a witch working in a bakery.
I love watching them make food in any Studio Ghibli movie.
But yeah,
I know we need to watch more of them.
Yeah, weirdly, so I used to always say Howl's Moving Castle was my favorite one, but then I rewatched it again and I didn't like it, which is weird. I think I didn't like the pacing of it. And I was like, I felt really like sad because I showed Hunter, Isabella, and Simon Howl's Moving Castle, and they really liked it, and I was like, I love this movie. For some reason, rewatching, I'm like, I don't like this one that much.
Sometimes that happens, and it's such a weird feeling because you're like, I based my whole personality around this. And now I don't like it anymore.
I have a letterbox, and my top 4 was one of them was Howl's Moving Castle, and then I changed it to Kiki. But yeah, we have about 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes
Clarisse,
left.
Yes.
where can the people find you?
The
if you want them to find you.
can find me on Instagram at Clarisse, except it's spelled wrong. It's spelled Clarixxe, so like Clarisse. And that is all I have to plug because don't find me anywhere else, please.
Please.
Don't look for me. But, you know, quick rundown of my favorite things, you know, Steven Universe, Keep-O and the Age of the Wonder Beast, Arcane for the adults. Let's not leave this without mentioning Spider-Verse.
True.
Coco, even though Disney tried to literally take over a Mexican holiday. Why would you do that? Let me see. Steven Universe, sorry to say that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say it 2 more times. Steven Universe. What movies do I watch? I don't even know anymore. Oh! Wolfwalkers, which should have won over Soul, but it was on Apple TV Plus and nobody saw it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but people have told me I would really like it.
I know, you said it was really good.
And Klaus.
I wanted to watch Klaus.
Fair.
But, yeah.
All right, thank you, Clarisse, for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Always.
Oh, wait, I have one more thing to plug.
Yes.
My actual podcast that I work for, Talk Easy with Sam Fredoso. Find it on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, whatever, wherever you do your listening. That's how Sam says it.
And
yes, it's so
speaking
good.
of Spotify, we have our first episode of the Film Stud Girls on Spotify.
Oh yeah, if you want to listen, we're working on it.
Yeah, look up Film Stud Girls. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Check us out on YouTube and Instagram at Film Stud Girls, girls with an O. Love
and
you.
you won't hear us next week because it's Thanksgiving. Have a
Happy
safe Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
See you soon. Bye-bye.